Is this the most affordable underwater photography camera in the world? Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is the Insta360 X4, and today I'm going to be reviewing how good it is for underwater videography. I've been testing it out here in the Maldives over the last couple of weeks, putting it through different scenarios, trying different settings, and this is going to be my review of how I think it's performed underwater. Now, this is a 360-degree camera, so it's predominantly going to be used for underwater videography, and that's what I've been using it for. I'm not going to bother reviewing what it's like for photography because it's not what I use it for, and I don't think it's where its strengths lie. Now, first up, let's talk about the camera itself and the settings. Now, as you can see, it's got two cameras on it, super wide angle, and that's what helps it gather that 360-degree field of view. Now, when I first started shooting with this underwater, I was shooting in 4K 120, which is great. It allows you to get this really smooth, super slow-mos, and I was really happy with how that turned out, in fact, and I managed to get this cool footage of some dolphins just sticking the camera in the water from the boat. The camera can shoot up to 8K, but the thing is that when you take it diving, a lot of the time there's not enough light for it to be able to shoot properly in 8K, and the footage is going to end up being noisy. So I settled on a happy medium of 5K 60. This seems to give a good balance between quality that you can crop in on later if you want to do vertical videos, and also being able to shoot in a slightly higher frame rate so you can slow it down a little bit. I managed to get some pretty good results from it, especially in the top kind of 5 meters where there's a lot of light, especially here in the Maldives, tropical location, super clear water. You can get some really good videos from that, similar to on other action cameras. Now, where I did struggle a little bit is when I started to go a little bit deeper, especially whilst diving as well. At around 25-30 meters where there isn't a lot of light, especially on a cloudy day, there started to be quite a lot of noise in the videos. As you can see here, there's a lot of noise in this one. Now, it is at about 30 meters, so fairly deep down, but it's a little bit more noise than you would expect in some of the other action cameras as well. I wasn't sure if this is something I had wrong in the settings. I even reduced the sharpness down to low from medium, but this is still something I'm trying to figure out and why there's so much noise coming into these videos. Now, whenever I use the camera underwater, I always pair it with this, the dive housing along with the invisible stick as well. This is what's recommended by Insta360 for when you're taking the camera underwater, and the algorithm within the camera effortlessly gets rid of the stick as well. So in most of the videos, as long as you're holding it in the right way, it's going to look like you're just floating around basically. It looks like you're not holding anything. Now, I have also attached the Insta360 in the housing to my main camera, my A7R III, just to get some behind the scenes shots of what it looks like when I'm using the big camera as well. With that, the algorithm is going to struggle to get rid of basically everything else. It's looking for a stick like this, but it's still good for getting behind the scenes shots. Using this housing is really simple. Just undo the clips, put the camera in there, put it in the anti-fold strips, and you're good to go. Now, for the most part, it's been pretty smooth sailing using this, but there has been one really annoying thing that I found. In the Insta360 instructions, it says to swim with the housing like this, horizontally. Now, whenever I've done it like that, in shallow waters especially, I found that there's been a lot of glare, and glare especially here in this middle section of the housing, which when it comes to post, the software can't fix, and you end up having these massive glare marks across the middle of the video. Now, when I've had it vertically like this, I haven't had this glare problem, and this has been really frustrating because I've lost out on some really cool footage just because of the fact that I was holding the camera like this, like it is in the instructions. Now, I'm not sure if it's something that I'm doing wrong, and if you've got experience with this, let me know in the comments if there's a way to fix it or if I've been using it wrong. But from my experience, holding it like this gets you much better results than like this, especially in the top shallow water. So here's one example of how I lost out on some really cool footage. I was filming this green turtle that was actually trying to sleep mid-water and yawning. And as you can see here, the flare from it makes it completely unusable. It also made the camera kind of lose focus as well. And like I said, this is super frustrating. Would have been amazing footage, but if you have experience with this, let me know in the comments what I was doing wrong. The other pet peeve that I have with these housings, and from what I can gather, it's what a lot of people have with it as well, is that they are so sensitive to scratching. I guess with how the 360 technology works, the housing has to be designed in a very specific way, and maybe the plastic has to be made very thin or something like that. But the housing is very prone to scratching. These dome parts are very sensitive, so be careful with it. A lot of people are getting them scratched after one use and having to buy a new one. So I say be careful with it, and always carry the protective sleeve with you as well. So what I do is I keep this sleeve at all times on the boat and whilst I'm getting ready for a dive or to go in the water. And in fact, I take it underwater with the sleeve on as well. So I take it underwater, sleeve like this. Once I get into the water, I take the sleeve off, put it in my pocket, and then when I get back on the boat, put the sleeve back on before I hand it back onto the boat. This is just going to help prevent any scratches getting on this housing. Other than that, it's pretty self-explanatory. There is a way in which you have to turn it into dive mode to enable it to be able to understand the housings on it, but it's all in the instructions, pretty straightforward. And as far as the housing goes, it's pretty decent. I haven't had any problems with leaks so far. Now let's talk about editing and the post-processing. Now, when you finish shooting and you bring it back and you offload your content, you can get two different types of video files. One's a .lrv and one is a .insv. The .lrv are the low resolution files that basically it just allows you to watch it in camera, whereas the .insv files are the proper high quality videos that you want to edit. Now, those .insv files aren't able to be opened by any software other than the proprietary Insta360 software. So that's the phone app and the desktop studio as well. Now, this is a little annoying that you can't just import that footage into your editing software of choice, but it's not the end of the world. The Insta360 Studio app is pretty self-explanatory and quite user-friendly. It is limited compared to something like Final Cut or Premiere Pro, obviously, but it's still pretty usable. Now, I do wish that you were able to shoot in more of like a log profile. There is a flat standard profile that you can use in the settings, which is what I use, but it's still not the same as being able to shoot in a flat color profile like on GoPro or a log profile in other cameras as well. So this is something that I hope they upgrade in future cameras. Now, as far as editing goes, you can do it as much or as little as you want, obviously. Now, I set it up in a flat color profile, similarly to on a GoPro, so you can edit it a little bit more and you have more free range of the output. The app has a built-in aqua vision function which analyzes your footage and tries to color correct it itself a little bit for underwater colors. So essentially what it's going to do is try and make it a little bit warmer, a little bit more pink, and try and fix some of those aquas and make it a little nicer and color correct it just a little bit for you. This is typically pretty good, especially as a starting point as well. It doesn't go over the top when things are overly blue like Dive Plus does, and it's a pretty good starting point for an edit. Now, you are going to be limited in how much you can color correct here. There's no vector scopes or color curves, anything like that. But one thing that you can do is do the basic adjustments in the app, render it out and export it at the highest settings in ProRes with highest bitrate as well, and then take that into your editing software of choice and color grade it further in that. This is pretty much the best scenario that I found for being able to edit these videos to the max. So what's my verdict? I think it's an incredible camera for behind the scenes content. It can capture everything around you in 360 vision, so it really gives you a lot of scope for what you want to show off, whether it's what's in front of you, your reaction, or both together as well with this round world kind of edit that you can make. It's really got endless opportunities in what you can showcase. Now, it's not necessarily going to be the highest quality camera compared to filming on a mirrorless or something like that, but for social media and for behind the scenes content, I think it's incredible, and I'm definitely going to be using it a lot more in the coming months, especially for socials content. It makes a powerful addition to my filming rig, and it kind of helps me not have to have another person in the water when I'm trying to capture behind the scenes content. It kind of does everything itself, so I can just shoot naturally on my main camera, and this is always capturing content in the background. If you're a beginner looking to jump into underwater videography or just want a camera that you can take with you on your travels, I definitely look at this as a great option for that. Using the invisible stick, it's also perfect for vlogs as well. So I've been using it to capture a lot of topside content when I'm trying to get behind the scenes content for my vlogs. It's perfect for that. I'll leave the link for the X4 in the description below. Go and check it out if you're in the market for a new action camera. Hopefully this review has been helpful. If you've been thinking about grabbing one of these X4s, let me know in the comments below if you've been using this and what your experiences with it are, especially underwater. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.